Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over my March and February reading wrap-up. I'm going to start with February first, of course. I only read 4 books for the month of February. I was in such a book slump. Okay, so the first book that I finished is going to be The Second Death of Locke. Now, I loved the premise for this story, but I didn't love the execution. The idea of it was far better than what I was reading. And I will say, for those of you still interested in reading it, it was a lot gorier. It was a lot more gory than I anticipated it to be. So I will say that as a warning. So we have our main character, who is a knight to this sort of general in the army. And she is a well of magic. And the general pulls from her. And we kind of watched their romance unfold as they kind of work together to uncover secrets for the land, as well as secrets that she's entangled with, if that makes sense. It's a journey sort of book, and I think they tried to do a little bit of found family, but I wasn't really caring for the characters as I was reading about them. I didn't really feel a lot of love towards them. The romance itself, didn't really love that either. I loved their friendship more than their romance, and it kind of just felt like it came out of nowhere. And the ending felt especially rushed to me, so I did not love that either. But the idea of it is so cool. So if any of you guys like this book, let me know, because I could have just been missing something. But it kind of ended up being, like, for me, the Isle of the Silver Sea. Starting off great. I'm interested in it, so locked in, and then by the end of it, I'm like, why am I reading this? So that was a whole thing. And the Isle of the Silver Sea is good too. Just did not love the execution yet again. Oh my god. The next book I read was a 5-star read for me. It's going to be The Conditions of Will, and that is written by, I think, Jessa Hastings is her name. Jessa Hastings. And she also wrote the Magnolia Park series. If any of you guys love that, you'd probably love this as well. And I have yet to read it, but I reckon they're cut from the same cloth, so to speak. We're with our main character as she is somewhat forced to go back home to visit her family, and her dad just passed away, so her already very dramatic and emotional and absolutely wretched family is even more heinous. There's drama, there's love, there's anger. I was here for the drama and honestly the romance. I was completely and utterly shocked by how much I loved the romance. Sam Penny. Swear to God, I say his name at least once a day because he's just so fucking great. I'm exaggerating, by the way. He is cool, though. The one thing that got me, though, is why are we talking about how barefoot this man is? This Australian man, never wearing shoes. I was like, I don't think I would talk to someone who was constantly barefoot, but maybe that's a personal problem. I don't know. But he sounded really cool. He sounded great. He was, like, very emotionally available for her and really, really good at stepping up to be what she needed him to be. And it was just, like, it was a lot of, like, hard situations to navigate, and then somehow he just, obviously, well, not somehow, he written by a woman, and somehow he always had the proper steps. You know, like, I wasn't ever icked out by his behavior, and it just felt really cute. It felt like our character deserved to just be able to be cute, so that was lovely. But yeah, lots of drama. Ooh. And it, like, happens at, like, such a fast pace. Like, we're getting drama after drama after drama. You know what I'm saying? Everything's at once. Okay, next book. Would recommend, though. 5-star read for me personally. The next book I read was Kiss of the Villain. Sometimes when I'm, like, in a bit of a reading slump, I love to just throw in a really dark romance to, like, shake things up for myself, because my brain, it's like the way that some people read horror. That's how I read my dark romances. People eat them up. You're like, your heart's racing. You're like, what the fuck is going on? That was how Kiss the Villain was for me, and it's the first one in the series. We have a college student professor relationship, and I love the law world as well. I believe it's law field-esque. So that was cool too. It was very crazy. It's not like a book that I'm like, oh my god, I love it, it's 5 stars, but, like, I can appreciate what it's able to do for me, like, take me out of my mind, throw me back into reading. Because while I was reading this, I was reading my February wrap-up pick, The Night Circus, and I didn't love it. It could be because it's not my typical genre of writing, but it could have also been the execution yet again. It just was not for me. I will say Kiss the Villain is good in its own sphere, but I don't think it's comparable to like a book like The Conditions of Will. It depends on if you're looking to read something like that. But when it comes to The Night Circus, I will say this book is genuinely like a work of art. When I was a kid and I was growing up and I was imagining like, oh, like stories and fairy tales and this, that, and the third, this is like the adult version of what I would have been picturing. It's just very magical, fantastical. It feels like a dream, and that was the whole premise of the circus itself. We have our main female magician as well as our main male magician, and from a young age, they don't know it, but they're being forced to go against each other in a game set up by their predecessors, I guess you could say. For the girl, it's her dad. For the guy, it's his adopted father, who is like, they both end up teaching them. They find out eventually that they're being trained to go against each other in this game, but by then it's too late. They're forced into an agreement at a young age. So there's that. And it honestly was really good, but it feels like a fever dream looking back at that. And I don't know if I'm the right audience or the proper person to be able to appreciate a book that feels like a fever dream. I feel like I'm already so like, oh, like la-dee-dee-da, kind of outside of my mind in real life. So I think it was just a bit too out of this world for me. But I could see a million bajillion people loving it and being able to appreciate the art that it is. Okay, moving on. Those are the 4 books I read in February because I was in such a book slump. It was crazy. Okay, for March, I read a whopping 6 books, which is kind of abnormal for me, but I'm not upset about it. I feel like I did okay, and I had a great time during the month of March. So the first book that I read was Binding 13, and actually no, this is like definitely out of order. It's whatever. Anyways, I did this for another video that will be up shortly, so stay tuned for that if you want to see my thoughts on Binding 13 in depth. But I read this because I've heard so much about how it's like a 5-star read for everybody. I loved it. Did not love how young they were, but I did love the characters. I love the setting. I do find myself thinking about the setting every now and then because I think the way that the book makes you feel is pretty unique. And it was so fast paced. And oh my god, the ending, I was pissed. I remember I was at the dog park with Tessa. I was pissed. I was like, what the fuck is this? So I immediately started the second one, Keeping 13. And for those of you who don't know about either of these books and you were like me, in big 2026, basically we have our main female character who's growing up in a home that is absurdly and most definitely abusive. Along the way, she ends up getting a ticket to a new school basically for a fresh start, because not only was she being bullied at home, she was also being bullied at school. Horribly so, like traumatic bullying at school. So she's finally able to get away, starts at a new school, and Lord have mercy, first day, this girl's going through it, and she happens to meet the main, are they rugby? The main rugby players at her school, and they just happen to stay within each other's orbit for a while, and maybe they just happen to fall in love while in said orbit, and we just watch as this goes on between the next 2 books. I'm pretty sure the second book was the ending. I don't really remember it. I don't know if that's good or bad, but yeah, I think, yeah, because the next one is like Keeping 6 or something like that. Saving 6? 1 second, let me double check because I feel embarrassed. Saving 6. The next book is Saving 6, and I believe that's her brother's story, and then we have Redeeming 6, the second book for her brother's story, Taming 7, and Releasing 10. The only reason why I haven't continued the story is because I'm genuinely only curious about the main male character's best friend. His name started with like a G. I'm so sorry I'm blanking right now, but that's the only one that I would probably read. I feel like the older brother, he was going through it, and I fear that shit would make me feel depressed. I don't know if I could put myself through that again, because it's like very like roller coastery, very up and down, very emotional, and not in a bad way per se, but the way you feel while reading it, it does start to get a little bit repetitive because we're consistently going through like high, low, high, low, high, low, rather than like the regular high, low, high. Does that make sense? Okay, the next book I read was The Devil She Knows, and I was hoping this was going to be a 5-star read, but it was not. And that's okay. I had a great time while reading it. It's a sapphic romance where this girl, our main female character, gets broken up with, and she loved that girl down. So one day when she's in an elevator, a demon smells her desperation from across the pond and is like, let me help you out. I will give you, I think it's 6 wishes, it could be 7, 6 wishes to get this girl back, like buff yourself up. And this girl wishes and wishes and wishes, and we're kind of just going through all of that as we watch her attempt to get the girl she loves back. And if you guys see the cover, you can tell that the girl that she lost is not the girl who she actually ends up trying to get. It felt like when I was reading it, though, the romance felt like it just kind of like came out of nowhere. Like, obviously it's gonna happen, but yeah, it felt like it came out of nowhere. I thought it was gonna be a little bit different. I thought we were gonna be falling a little bit more slowly. I did love the romance at the end, as just not the middle, because it was pretty wholesome, but it just wasn't. I think I'm more of like a gradual kind of girly. So yeah, I would recommend this book still, though, because it is super cute. It just also got a little bit repetitive with what we were doing. Did not love her, but I liked her. Okay, next book I read, Spiral, and I know there's like a common trend. All these books, I'm expecting them to be 5-star reads, and it's okay that this one wasn't. Oh my god, I skipped a book. I'm going back because this book was a 5-star read for me, and it was Wild Reverence. I have heard some people are like, oh, it takes a little bit to pick up in the beginning, and it does. It does take a little bit to pick up in the beginning, but once you do pick it up, you're zooming. It's a little bit abnormal, I would say, compared to the formulaic romances we're used to. It does not follow the typical formula. We watch these 2 individuals, one's a goddess and one is a mortal. We watch as they fall in love and meet and live life and yada yada yada. I would say if you were to love this book, I would recommend this book to someone who's looking for sort of like a fantasy world, just like more world building than like our typical romantasy books, and then also just like star-crossed lovers, and like more of like a wholesome love, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm so used to the formulaic endings. When it didn't end in that way, I was like at first taken aback. Like I was like, I don't know if I love it, but I did end up rating it 5 stars just because I loved the way that they showed love and the way that it was expressed through our characters. Like, it was a lot of like giving, showing up for each other, like never giving up on each other. And I think that's what I love when reading about love. Next book was what I was talking about before, Spiral. This book was good in the beginning. I was kicking my feet. I was like, babe, if you wanted a blueprint on how to love me, this would be it. But oh my god, I was like about to start the smut scene, and I swear to god, I got the biggest, fattest ick. I was like, what is this? I was so pissed because it had been so good, and then out of nowhere, the main male character gets like this inner monologue or inner dialogue, and like the way that he's talking, and I'm like, ugh. Like, I swear to god, I almost ugh. But outside of that, I did finish the book because I was like, I know that I have some love left for this story, and I did. It was good. I almost teared up at the end, just the way that it all unfolds, but I did not love the smut scenes. And you guys, I have never skipped a smut scene in my life, and it's not like it's like shit. Like, it's not like a piece of trash smut scene. Like, I'm not throwing it outside and dancing all over it and laughing at how bad it is. It's not like that at all. I'm literally, I just didn't love it, and that's never happened to me before, and I could not get past it. Something about the way he was thinking, I was just like, I can't think like that. It's not for me. But yeah, very cute in the beginning, very wholesome, and it honestly made me less afraid of getting into hockey romances, except for Heated Rivalry. Not afraid of that one, but I do have like Icebreaker, and then I've heard of, I think, Is It the Deal? Is that a hockey romance? I don't know. I know, I think it's sporty, but I'm like less afraid of starting hockey romances now because they're so cute, so adorable. I love that. And then the girl, she's a ballet person. I just realized I didn't tell you guys at all what it was about. I'm so sorry. But basically, we have our hockey player. He is so sick and tired of being famous and being viewed as a playboy hockey player. And then we have our ballerina who's down on her luck and needs a higher social media following. They end up being like, why don't we help each other out? I'll get with you and date you so you look like less of a playboy. And he's like, I'll help you get a higher social media following. And oh my god, lo and behold, they fall in love. Surprise! But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. The ballet part was really cool. I was like, wow, she sounds like she spoke to somebody about ballet things. That was nice. Okay, last book. It's going to be another dark romance because I fell into another book slump. I'm not in it anymore, and I just finished Starshipped. I think that's what it's called. But anyways, this book is Loving the Tormentor. It's from the Silver Falls University series. It's the third book in the series. The premise is so crazy. Like, I don't even think I could explain it to you. I think if you're interested in dark romance and you love the Legacy God series, is that what it's called? Is it the Gods of Legacy, the Legacy God series? If you like the Legacy God series, you would probably like this. But I would say that some things about this series, it's darker because all aspects of the story are dark. When reading the Legacy God series, I would say that only their relationships are somewhat dark, depending on the story you're reading. I also didn't read every single book. I think I missed like 2. So I would say most likely be more weary of these and read the trigger warnings for these. Because we have Loving the Liar, which is the first book, and then Loving the Reaper, and then Loving the Tormentor. I would say the second book and the third book are my favorite so far. First was good. I still remember it. It's not my favorite. I think it's just because of, it doesn't matter. Anyways, yep, that was it. Those were my reads for the last 2 months. I had, 2 5-star reads. Need to bump them numbers up. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I appreciate you spending time with me. Bye.